Seth vs. Bron, the real story. Steel Cage War explained. Rollins vs. Breakker breakdown. WWE's next big rivalry. The fight that changes everything. Can Seth Rollins really walk into a steel cage match knowing exactly what Bron Breakker is capable of, or did he underestimate the danger waiting inside that cage? And what if this battle was never just about proving who was stronger, but about sending a message that could change the future of WWE? The steel cage has always been a place where excuses disappear. No running, no hiding, no outside interference, and no easy way out. Once that door locks, it becomes one of the most intense tests a superstar can face. But when the cage was set for Seth Rollins and Bron Breakker, fans quickly realized something was different. This wasn't just another match on the card. There was a feeling that something bigger was happening. Seth Rollins has been through almost everything WWE can throw at a superstar. He has fought legends, survived betrayals, carried championships, and stepped into moments where his entire career was hanging in the balance. The guy has practically made a career out of walking into chaos and somehow finding a way to smile through it. At this point, you almost expect him to show up injured, exhausted, and still somehow start singing his theme song like nothing happened. But Bron Breakker is a completely different kind of challenge. He isn't just another opponent looking for a big win. He represents a new generation that believes the old guard's time is running out. His power, speed, and aggression have made him one of the most dangerous young forces in WWE, and every time he steps into the ring, there's this feeling that he's trying to prove something. And that's where the real story begins. Because before the cage even closed, the question wasn't only who would win. The bigger question was what each man was trying to prove. For Seth Rollins, this was about showing that experience still matters. It was about reminding everyone that being a veteran doesn't mean being finished. There's a difference between getting older and losing your edge. Some wrestlers slow down with time, but Seth has always been the type to evolve. For Bron Breakker, this was about making a statement. Beating Seth Rollins inside a steel cage wouldn't just be another victory added to his record. It would be a moment that announced he had arrived. And honestly, that's what makes this rivalry so interesting. It's not just old versus new. It's two completely different mindsets colliding. One man built his legacy through years of sacrifice, while the other is trying to build his before anyone can stop him. If you enjoy WWE breakdowns like this, make sure you subscribe because we're diving deep into all the details behind this explosive showdown. And let me know in the comments, did you think Seth Rollins was the favorite, or did Bron Breakker have the advantage from the beginning? Now, let's talk about the tension leading into this match. A steel cage match changes everything. Normally, a superstar can use strategy, distractions, or outside help. But once the cage surrounds them, all those tricks disappear. It becomes one-on-one, and that's when we find out who is truly prepared. And that might have been the biggest problem for Seth Rollins. Bron Breakker doesn't fight like someone who wants to survive. He fights like someone who wants to overwhelm you before you can even think. His explosive attacks, his intensity, and his confidence create a completely different type of pressure. Seth knew that. He wasn't walking into this match blind. But knowing something and experiencing it are two completely different things. The moment that cage door shut, everything changed. The atmosphere became heavier. Every strike mattered more. Every mistake could cost the entire match. The crowd wasn't just watching two wrestlers compete anymore. They were watching two careers, two philosophies, and two generations collide. And this is where Seth Rollins' experience started showing. Because Seth understands something that many younger wrestlers learn the hard way: winning isn't always about being the strongest person in the room. Sometimes it's about staying calm when everything around you becomes chaos. That's always been one of his greatest strengths. Even when things go wrong, Seth finds a way to adapt. He's like that person who somehow fixes a broken phone screen with tape and confidence. You're not sure it should work, but somehow it does. But Bron Breakker wasn't there to respect the past. He was there to break through it. Every move from Bron felt like he was trying to erase the idea that Seth Rollins still belonged at the top. He wasn't just attacking Seth physically. He was attacking the belief that experience always wins. And that's what made the match feel personal. Because Seth Rollins has spent years proving himself. He has been doubted before. He has been betrayed before. He has had moments where people questioned whether he could still be the guy. So feeling that challenge again probably added another layer to the fight. This wasn't just Bron saying, "I can beat you." It was almost like he was saying, "Your era is ending." And Seth's response was simple. Not with words. With action. The fight became more intense as both men pushed past their limits. The cage wasn't just a structure around them anymore. It became a symbol. There was nowhere to escape from the pressure. Nowhere to hide from the expectations. Every fan watching had the same question. Could Seth's experience overcome Bron's power? Or was this the moment where the next generation officially took control? And that's why moments like this matter in WWE. A great match isn't just about moves. It's about what those moves mean. A clothesline is just a clothesline until you understand why it happened. A victory is just a victory until you understand what it changes. And that's the part many people overlook. Because if Bron Breakker walks away from this match looking stronger, it changes how everyone views him moving forward. Suddenly, he isn't just a talented young superstar. He becomes someone who has survived against one of WWE's biggest names. But if Seth Rollins wins, it sends a different message. It proves that the old guard isn't done yet. It proves that experience, intelligence, and heart still have a place in WWE's future. And that's what makes this rivalry so fascinating. Neither outcome feels meaningless. That's rare. Sometimes wrestling fans complain that matches don't matter anymore, and honestly, we've all seen those moments where something feels like it's just happening because the calendar says there needs to be a match. We've all sat there thinking, okay, but why are these two fighting again? But this one feels different. There's a reason behind it. There's a story. There's a question waiting to be answered. And maybe that's the biggest thing about Seth Rollins versus Bron Breakker. It's not just about who wins. It's about what happens afterward. Because WWE history is full of moments where one match changes everything. A young superstar beats a legend, and suddenly the entire landscape shifts. A veteran proves everyone wrong, and their legacy grows even stronger. This could become one of those moments. Bron Breakker has the chance to create a defining chapter in his career. Seth Rollins has the chance to remind everyone why he became one of the most respected names in the business. And somewhere between those two goals is where the real drama lives. So now I want to hear from you. Who do you think needed this win more? Was Bron Breakker trying to prove he belongs at the top, or was Seth Rollins fighting to protect his place in WWE history? Drop your thoughts in the comments because I want to see what everyone thinks. Also, if you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to like the video and subscribe for more WWE stories, rivalries, and hidden details behind the biggest moments. Because sometimes